Live from the Pepsi Studios in New York City, it's the Hospitality Hangout podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy. Everything is better with Pepsi.
Really? Is it?
I got to tell you, it's never too early for a little Pepsi in the morning there, Jimbo.
I'm a Starry guy now. I've become a big fan of Starry.
By the way, you know what I got to tell you? I love Starry. Are you doing the diet, like the no?
I'm doing the zero sugar.
The zero sugar?
Delicious.
Let me tell you, a little shout out to Pepsi.
Yeah.
You know, canned cocktails are like the hottest thing going, right?
Yes.
Let me tell you, what they got to do, call Tito's. They do a Tito's and Starry in a can,
Yes.
gluten-free,
Yes.
0 calories.
Yes.
It's just nothing but taste.
Nothing but taste.
And relaxation.
What do you want to name that something? The Schatzberg.
Starry and Tito's. Just
Starry and Tito's.
Yeah, Starry and Tito's, man. I got to tell you, it is the most delicious in the summertime. That's all I drink. I love it.
Starry and Tito's.
Listen, Jimmy. It's my one that advice for Pepsi. That's free. That nugget's free.
You know, free nugget.
Hey, listen, we got a great show and a great guest. Before we get into it, Jimbo, there's always. You remember I told you. I said, Jimmy, there's one thing, and look, we've known each other a long time. We've been in the restaurant business a long time. You were a bartender. I was a bartender. We've been doing this a long time. I said, Jimmy, I would never change my
POS.
You said I would never. I said I would never change.
You said you'd never change, and I laughed. I said I cannot believe.
And what did I do?
You changed your POS.
Mm-hmm. We ripped it out. We ripped it out of all the stores. And I got to tell you, we put in Toast, and we're loving it. We are loving it. I got to tell you, we got handhelds. Toast's got handhelds. It's flexible. The staff love it. The customers love it. The managers, they used to have to take a special class to understand how to put things on the point of sale. I say Toast, in my opinion, it's like the Apple of point of sale.
Apple of POS.
Apple of POS.
That's a big statement.
It's the Apple.
It's very intuitive.
You know how many restaurants are using it? When I started using it, there were like 6. There was 6.
Early adopter.
Early adopter. You know how many use it now?
16.
Over 100,000 restaurants using Toast. So Jimbo, you know, and it's not just for SMBs, Jimmy.
Not just for SMB.
No, I mean, we're SMB.
Yeah.
But the big guys are starting to, they're like, Schatzy's onto something. I was saying Toast. They're like, Shatsy, enough of the toast. I like a bagel. I'm like, you're not, it's not the point. It's not the bagel. It's not the toast. It's the point of sale, you idiots. Velvet Taco, Bar Louie, Papa Gino's, Wawa Grill. The list goes on and on. 100,000 restaurant operators they're basically knocking off Shatsy. They're knocking off Shatsy, I got to tell you.
Starry and Toast. Those are your big statements today.
That's it. I think I've said enough. I think it's enough shameless plugs. Jimmy, let's take it away because got a great, really great guest. I don't know. Again, I don't know what we're paying guests. What are we paying everybody?
We've increased the fee. We've multiplied the fee we pay our guests.
10?
Like 6 times.
6 times. So they're now getting 6 times 0.
Yes.
So I mean, what's 6 times 0?
You know what? It's a number that's going to take me a few moments to calculate, but it's bigger.
It is.
It's bigger than the previous.
It is. Well, I got to tell you, we got a great guest, Jimmy.
Let's kick it off. All right. Listen, thank you to our listeners and to our guests for allowing us to indulge in that little pre-episode banter. But I want to welcome you more formally to the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders at Branded Hospitality share their insights and bring technology and innovation leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy. I'm going to reintroduce my partner, Mr. Michael Schatzberg, otherwise known as the restaurant.
Yeah, but that wasn't me, Jimmy. That before that was our MC or something. You know, that was
warming up.
That was a warm up guy. Yeah. Hey, listen, thank you, Jimmy, for that kind introduction, and for everybody listening. Call me Shatsy. We are at the intersection of hospitality, restaurants, technology, innovation, automation, investments, and of course, let's not forget Subs. We love Subs. I love Heroes, Subs. I'm a Jersey guy. I think in Jersey was it a hoagie or a hero or a sub?
You have to tell me.
It's like data and data.
Yeah, here in New York City, we call it a sandwich. Listen, I want to now bring in our guest before he starts.
Yeah, before he leaves. He's about to hang up.
He reaches out to his marketing person. He's like,
why did you agree
to
this?
do this? We are very fortunate today to have our friend, Mr. Craig Dunaway, the COO of Penn Station East Coast Subs. As Shatsy said, he loves hoagies. I love sandwiches. We're up in Connecticut grinders. I'm going to say 3 facts about our friend Craig. 2 are true and 1 is false. I
love this game.
Okay, Shatsy, you're very good at this game.
Very good at a few things.
Here are the 3 factoids. And remember, you got to stick around to the end of the episode where we will reveal which 2 truths and which is the 1 not truth. All right, fact 1. Craig played college football.
I got to tell you, just looking at Craig right now, I can see that.
I can see it. Okay, fact 2.
Quarterback, I'll bet.
Fact 2. Craig has 9 toes. They got to get. I made you pause on that one. Craig has 9 toes.
Well, because I don't want it like that. Like that could. I mean, if he has 9 toes, I mean, that's like could be like.
I was giving you the chance to say, look at it, Craig. You can see that being true.
I can't. But I mean, but I'm just saying, like, oh man, like if he does, I mean,
fact 3. Craig has run 10 marathons in 10 different states. 10 marathons, 10 different states. Right?
The guy looks so svelte right now. From what I'm seeing right now, he looks so svelte.
You could box the college football and the marathons here. You could box these things.
Like, I can see him running marathons. The toes, I mean, I don't know. The toes is so random. I mean,
so random, it's either true or it's a ruse. But how about this? 10 marathons.
Who makes up that you have 9 toes?
He could have run 10 marathons
with 9 toes
in nine states.
But can you run with missing a toe?
I think definitely.
All right, listen,
Here we are. 3 factoids. Played college football, 9 toes, 10 marathons in 10 different states. Stick around to the end of the episode to hear the real story. Okay, Schatzberg.
I'm dying. I got to tell you. We're going to bring on Craig, but before we bring on Craig's like, how long they got to sit and listen to these 2 idiots? I got to tell you, we're going to dig in to, we always like to know, how do our guests get to their positions? And I always like, Jimmy, I like to go back.
Yes.
Because nobody just jumps into the restaurant space. Nobody's that stupid. Right? So you want to say, how did Craig become the COO of Penn Station East Coast Sub? So I'm going to go back to 1983, Jimbo.
Oh, good year.
Yeah, you were like in high school? You were like in junior high school?
83 makes me think of Captain.
We're going back to Indiana, Hoosiers, Indiana University. And Craig's thinking to himself, what do I want to do? Professional football player? Do I want to play, Hoosier? Do I want to play? Or do I want to go into accounting? What do I want to do?
That's a hard choice.
And he talked to his parents, and they're like, you know what, Jimmy? Accounting. Why?
Always get work.
You always get a job if you're accounting. So he said he wanted to play football. His mom and dad were like, no, you're going to be an accountant. You're going to Indiana to be an accountant. He gets involved in franchising because he wanted to help a friend, and they had a Papa John's. And he loved pizza. He loved pizza, and everyone in Indiana loves pizza. So then he becomes a Papa John franchisee. So accountant, and he's a Papa John franchise, and somehow he stumbles upon Penn Station. He's driving down. He's so hungry. One day. He can't find a Papa John's. There's no Papa John's in Indiana. Can't find a Papa John's for the life of him in this particular road where he's driving. And he hits a Penn Station. I think it was in Louisville. He hits a Penn Station. He loves it. It's the best sandwich he's ever had. And he's like, that's it. I got to become the COO of that company. I don't care. Let's bring on Craig Dunaway and just say, Craig.
How does he get right?
Craig Dunaway, welcome to the show. It's been a half hour of me and Jimmy talking. How much did I get right?
75% of it.
That's not bad, Jimmy.
No, it was not bad at all. I was impressed. I can fill in gaps for you where need be.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about it, man. So how COO, you were an accountant, you're in Indiana. Talk to me. How did this happen? The Penn Station story?
I'm not sure if you glamorized the last 45 years of my life or made it seem trivial at that point, but it was good.
You're a glamorous guy, let's face it.
No, you're right. I did grow up in Louisville, Kentucky, and I went to Indiana University Southeast in Southern Indiana, but it was
that was a footnote.
Yeah, it was part of the Bloomington system. And you're right. I mean, I will say that a buddy and I used to, we had no money, but we had dreams, and we used to study together as 2 accountants. And, we said, when we graduate from college, let's buy real estate. Didn't really know what that meant. Just knew we wanted to make money.
That sounds impressive.
Yeah, we wanted to make money. And I went my way, he went his after college. And about 2.5 years later, my buddy came back to our accounting firm as our controller. And we rekindled this let's buy real estate discussion. And a couple of months later, another friend of ours approached us and said, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a Papa John's franchisee. And we're like, what? You're thinking about doing what? And he was a banker, but he wasn't a finance guy per se. And he asked us to put projections together for him. So we put projections together, and Charlie and I are working on these projections. It's like, you know what? Maybe we ought to can the real estate idea and meet with Papa John's and see if they.
That Papa John projection looked pretty good, huh?
Yeah,
it some good money.
It did look good, and there were only about 50 Papa John's at the time. I mean, this is in the mid '80s.
Tell me your buddy has like 100 Papa John's now, please.
You know what? He ultimately sold his Papa John's to become a Penn Station franchisee, and he has sold Penn Station.
Those numbers look even better from what I understand.
He just opened one in Seymour, Indiana 2 days ago. So John Cougarstown.
Yeah, I love it. JCM, baby.
We worked on the projections for Greg. We met with Papa John's. They liked us because we were young and aggressive, and they knew that we would work our tails off. And we opened a Papa John's. And I said I grew up in Louisville. The biggest market that was available at the time was Cincinnati. We wanted a big market, and we started opening Papa John's. Over the course of about 10 years, we opened 11 of them. And I'll be honest with you guys, we made money in spite of ourselves. We didn't know what we were doing.
I was not in you, man.
Yeah, I was not a restaurant guy. I was a numbers guy.
Yeah.
And so I was in public accounting full time the whole time. In Cincinnati every weekend, visiting our restaurants, learning, behind the scenes how to make money in restaurants. You guys know as well as I do, this is an extreme penny business. And
that's why you're perfect for it, because as an accountant, you know how to save pennies.
Yeah, so that's what we did. And in around 1997, you got the story right. We stopped at a Penn Station and tried the food and
said,
say
that again. What happened? What did I do?
Well, you were right. Scotty was right.
Jimmy, yeah. No one ever says that to me.
He was right. So we stopped at Penn Station, tried the food, loved it, thought this is phenomenal. And there's 3 things that really happened to me that was serendipitous. My partner, Charlie, said, I'm tired of traveling back and forth to Cincinnati all the time. He was full-time in it, and I wasn't smart enough to say, well...
It's not too bad of a trip, though, from Kentucky, right? From Louisville.
It's a couple hours. I just wasn't smart enough to say, why don't you just move? And so we tried the Penn Station food and loved it. And we were the largest franchisee in Cincinnati at the time of Papa John's. And the second largest franchisee approached us and said, would you be interested in selling? And I said, not really. And then he made us an offer. And I said, maybe we would be interested in selling.
Did he make you an offer you couldn't refuse?
He did.
Nice. So, Godfather always comes into play, Jimmy.
Every episode.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah, so we met with the founder of Penn Station, great guy, CEO today still, and loved what he had to say. So we started opening Penn Stations in Louisville, Kentucky. And first one we opened was in 1998.
98. I want to get back to that with, good things they say. I don't know who said it. I just said it. Happens on the golf course. Maybe not for me because I'm not very.
You're not a very good golfer.
Not a good golfer, but
if you're a good golfer, good things happen on the golf course.
Yes, for me, good things happen on the 19th hole. But for golfers, I understand good things can happen when you're playing a round of golf and you've got 4 or 5 hours or so. For me, it'd be 7 hours to play. But I understand that you met the founder of Penn Station on a golf course, and this was a conversation that ultimately took you not only to becoming a franchisee, but to becoming the president of Penn Station Subs. So can you share a little bit, about this unique position? Because you really have a unique spot. You are both a franchisee, and now you're a C-suite member as a franchisor. So I imagine any time a franchisee comes to you, and let's say they're having a less than awesome day, and they're going to say, you don't understand what I'm going through. Au contraire, Craig, you know exactly.
Yeah, when they say you don't understand,
you know exactly what they're going through. So can you talk about that the experience with the founder, and then what's it like being both a franchisee and a franchisor?
Sure. Yeah, so you're right about Jeff. Jeff actually he built a golf course. I'll give him a plug. It's called Stonelick Hills. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was voted one of the top 10 public courses in the United States by Golf Digest magazine.
Nice,
so
nice shout out to that track.
Yeah, but
you still playing that, Craig? You still hitting that course?
I do. The course plays me though. I don't play the course. It's a really good
usually
course.
Does play you.
Yeah, but I did meet Jeff that way, and he knew he was going to actually be building that golf course. And I ran for our franchisee advisory council and served on that before I became here. And I was on it for about a year and a half. And Jeff asked me to run on it because he knew that my background was finance. And everybody else on the FAC was an operations person. So,
right.
He wanted a different perspective. And we talked about this years later. Truth be told, the first time I played golf with him, I got to play down at Valhalla, down in Louisville. And between that and being on the FAC, I think Jeff was interviewing me. So in February of 99 at our annual meeting, he asked me if I would move to Cincinnati and become president. And I was flattered, and I told him I wasn't interested. But I'll tell you guys, I was I was the youngest partner at the accounting firm I was in, and I was the go-to guy for young people when they wanted to know if I ever going to be a partner. They wouldn't go talk to the 50-year-old; they would come talk to the 32-year-old to see whether or not they thought they would make it.
Yeah, that's why no one talks to Jimmy and I. We're old as dirt.
So I saw so many similarities between when I was a Papa John's franchisee, the brand. I mean, Papa John's always had a strong focus on the food, the franchisees, and profitability. And that's exactly what our founder, Jeff, was. And, the difference is in 1985, I was at an annual meeting for Papa John's, and John Schnatter stood up and said, we're going to have 2,000 units by the year 2000. And there's 55 open in the country, and everybody's looking around like, what in the heck is he talking about? And, now you look at there's over 5,500 Papa John's. So, John knew what he was doing. So I just really wanted to take the chance. Public accounting was hard. I tell everybody public accounting is what gave me gray hair, not the restaurant business.
Well, you got a beautiful head of hair. I got to tell you something, Craig. I don't care what color it is. It's full. Five Chef Jimmy takes off his hat right now. It's not gray. It's not black. It's just not there.
That's why I wear that.
So I would stick with that. I got to tell you, something, changing gears just a little bit. I got to tell you, as an operator ourselves, we know the importance of being adaptable. And I got to tell you, and I think if COVID taught operators one thing, you got to adapt. You got to be able to pivot and change and quick. You got to do things quick. It was interesting. You guys never had cold sandwich at Penn Station.
No.
And you guys had to pivot when COVID hit. Not just adding cold sandwiches to your menus for the first time, but you didn't have third-party delivery platforms. So you guys had to add a whole new menu category, if you will, and bring in third-party delivery platforms for the first time. And you had to do it fast. And you did it, and you're sticking with it. And now you're increasing sales at like 20, 30, 40, 50% on these platforms, and delivery is just growing and growing and growing. Talk about this new revenue stream, and is that now the new model? Is it going to be a lot more delivery, smaller footprints, drive-throughs? Like, what's happening now?
I think it's all the above of what you just said. I mean, you're right. Before COVID, we did not have third-party delivery. We did not have cold subs. And, we'd explored third-party delivery before COVID, but you guys know when you talk to other guests, it's expensive. I mean, it comes with a premium with the third-party providers. And, one day, 323 of our restaurants are basically, dine-in, no dine-in, carry out only.
Yeah, there's no in, there's nothing.
and what's pivoted and what's changed is, I think before COVID, restaurants could tell people how to get the food. And when COVID hit, what happened was consumers said, this is the way I want my food. Yep. And so, we implemented third-party delivery. We started slow. We just went with one provider. But what we found is it's like, some people have Netflix and some people have Hulu, and you have to have everybody. So all the big boys, we had to go with
Plus, Paramount Plus. I got like 47 platforms on my credit card bill.
So good.
Yeah. So
you got the core. You got the core, but your bill went up.
Oh.
Well, we were working on something called PS 2020, which was really our vision for the next 10 years of what the brand should look like. And what we saw the evolution was, 25 years ago, carryout was about 20% of our business.
Wait,
today,
PS 2020?
80% of our business.
Can you just give me a little bit more on the PS 2020? Is that breaking news?
It is. It's old breaking news. So what PS 2020 was to really cater to a changing consumer taste, changing to more food being consumed off-premise. And our main focus is cheesesteaks, fresh cut fries, fresh squeezed lemonade. And we felt like that we were missing out on the cold consumer. So what we wanted to do was add a line of cold products, and we felt like those products would carry better carry out and carry out better through third-party delivery. So we introduced about 7 or 8 new subs to the menu, and it's done really, really well for us. We think it's a good line extension where it hasn't cannibalized existing sales. It's grown our sales.
You had just mentioned pre-COVID, it was about 20% of your business was takeaway, and then Schatzy had jumped in. But how much is takeaway now? Off-premise?
Off-premise is 80% of our business now.
80% of the business. I love what you kind of described before. Pre-COVID, restaurants telling guests where and how to let's say to meet them, for them to consume and engage. And now we really, I think, as an industry, have learned that we need to meet the guests where they're at. And that really has a lot of again, a diversity to that. And certainly in your example, off-prem is playing an 80% role in the business. And that's obviously pretty critical. And then again, it also expands your dining room exponentially. That you're not contained by your
optionality. Always talk about it. You need flexibility and optionality. People like to have choices.
Yes.
How I want to get my food.
There you go. Listen, in addition to the podcast, we also have the privilege of having a weekly newsletter called the Hospitality Headline. It goes out every Saturday morning. We haven't missed a Saturday in over 3+ years now.
I don't know how you do it, Jimbo.
I don't sleep. I recently penned an edition called Speed Kills. And my thinking when I wrote the piece, I was reading about a lot of the off-premise activity, and I wrote a piece about while speed is in my opinion incredibly important, and the connection it has in food service hospitality, and as you talked about the importance of speed and meeting the guest off-prem or meeting the guest where they're at. I will tell you, my speed kills comment stirred a fair amount of.
I don't think I ever saw so many comments coming back in from the headline.
One person actually wrote to me because I said speed kills, and the dude was like, it's called fast food. The word fast is literally in the title.
But it's got to be good fast food.
It has to be good. So yeah. I want to bring you in, Craig, and I know there's an opinion where, customers, there are those who are really obsessed with the convenience factor. And maybe they're willing to trade off a little bit on the quality. But can you share a little bit of that? I wrote Speed Kills. I clearly know speed is important, but share some of your thoughts on this topic.
No one wants to sit for 2 hours in a restaurant for their entree. I mean, you always want it. Timing it's expectations, right?
You and Craig?
No, but I was jumping in a little bit.
You're allowed.
Somebody called me Craig once.
No, Jimmy, I got to tell you, I agree with you. And unfortunately, I agree with you because I think the quality of the product should be number one. But what we've seen is it's convenience today. And, some customers want to have their product delivered third party. Some want to order it through the web. Some want to come in and get it. And only 20% want to dine in at a table and stay there for 15 or 20 minutes. And we have to be efficient and fire on all of those cylinders or we're going to lose the guest. I was sitting in a Starbucks a couple of weeks ago in a meeting, and I just happened to be 15 feet from the front door, 15 feet from the table where people pick up their drinks, and 15 feet from the drive-through. And I was blown away by guests coming in and just whatever they wanted. Very few people walked in and placed an order and left. It was the pickup window and it was or walk in. And I think that as brands, we have to cater to every one of those needs, or they're just going to go somewhere else. If you're a mom or a dad and you got 2 kids in the car and you have to go through a pickup window because you can't get out, you're not going to come to one of our restaurants if it doesn't have a pickup window. You're just going to go someplace that
makes a lot of sense. I got to tell you, I see a Starbucks going out. Yeah, and going out to the Hamptons, there's that one on whatever, what is it, 104, 111? Yeah. I mean, there's always a huge line at that drive-through. They love picking up their iced coffees and what have you, man. No, you're 100% right. Listen, I got to tell you, we're going to jump into Jimmy and I always play an imaginary game at all the conferences where we pick a hot topic. And every time the word or phrase comes up, we have an imaginary shot of Macallan's or Johnny Walker or tequila or whatever. It's a little word association game. So we're going to play a little word association with you, Craig. Okay?
Sounds good.
I'm going to throw out something, and I want the first thing that comes to your mind, word or phrase, whatever you think. And are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Ghost kitchens.
Dying fad.
Sustainable packaging.
Expensive to execute.
Augmented reality menus.
Intriguingly sophisticated.
Wow. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to go back to the top of the list. Ghost kitchens. I think you said dying fad.
Yes.
Talk a little more, because I have to talk a little more about that.
We know how you feel about Ghost Kitchen, Jimmy.
Well, when Ghost Kitchens first came out, I mean, I'll tell you that we were short. We were betting against, and again, I recognize that it really depends on the definition, but I would say the idea that a ghost kitchen somehow would be a technology play versus a restaurant with no dining room is where we had issues. We felt those that were great operators and running brick and mortar would ultimately be the winners in the off-premise space because they have the systems, they have they know how to manage the teams, they have the supply chain and the channels, and they understand the restaurant business, whether your guest is dining in or out. that to me is still a restaurant, and it was being pitched too much as a tech company. But for yourself, you said dying fad. So what when you saw it, did you ever lean into it, or probably not? But how do you feel Ghost Kitchens plays into the expansion of the ultimately of off-prem? But you're the one that said dying fad, so I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I think that restaurants that were early adopters or adopted ghost kitchens, they were just looking to fill day parts so they couldn't sell any product, right? And they were trying to fill it with a second brand. And I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth where I talk about quality being or convenience being the number one factor. I still think people buy brands, and I think they buy products of brands. And when you're a ghost kitchen and you just slap up, say, cheesesteak, I mean, you may like a cheesesteak, but you want to buy a cheesesteak from a particular company, in my opinion. And I think
you don't want to buy it from a shipping container in a parking lot of Sears.
Right. And actually, I've ordered from a couple of ghost kitchens, and it's kind of perplexing trying to figure out who is making their product. Because you can go pick it up, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize that restaurant was also selling, a breakfast concept, also selling again cheesesteaks. So I think it's hard to execute. I think what you said about the tech side of it, I was cautiously optimistic. We did talk to some companies who were trying to sell it, but we sorted it too. We felt like it was going to be something that came and went.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, you got to look into these things. You got to check them out. You can't just ignore, and then you got to make a decision. I think that, to your point, I think a lot of people came up with the conclusion. I think Wendy's went in crazy, they went in like crazy into those things. And I think they pulled out and said,
the other thing I delineate is, I think, and again, that's why I said it's important the definition one has. Wendy's was running Wendy's products through, we'll call it non-Wendy's venues, and using let's call it the alternative kitchen. Yeah. Whether it's the shipping container kitchen or the takeaway or the commissary type model. Yeah. And they found it was, let's say, not it didn't meet the level of their
the quality standards were not there.
Because this wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then there's those, and I think Craig alluded to it, where you've got your someone launches a new brand out of the store to have a whole new product line. And what I found for most people is that was distracting to the operators, to their core business. And it was taking away time, attention, and energy from really what they're great at and the brand. So I believe content wins. And I believe when you have a brand that you like, they got to just continue to be great at that. And sometimes this is distracting. So anyway, there you have it.
No, it was great. I really appreciate that. All right, we're going right into a real quick game of what's hot and what's not. All right, Craig, one more game, and that's it.
One more game.
There may be another one. All right, here we go. What's hot and what's not? Footlong subs, hot or not?
Not.
Food traceability, hot or not?
Hot.
Plant-based proteins, hot or not?
Not.
You said not.
Not.
He said not.
Smart kitchen appliances, hot or not?
Hot.
Jimbo, that's a lot there.
There's a lot there. There were three hots and one not. I might try to. I know I'm supposed to pick.
I think I could have went. I would have answered exactly the way Craig did.
So you know what? I wanted to jump into the smart kitchen appliances, but I'm really curious. You gave one nod, and that was on the plant-based proteins. And you're in this business. You've got a real footprint. You see the consumer demand. So you see these alternative proteins, plant-based proteins. Tell me why you think it's a nod. I could imagine, but by all means, I say you're an expert in the field of sandwiches and grinders and hoagies, hot.
A lot of proteins. There's a lot of proteins.
A lot of proteins.
A lot of proteins over there.
We do sell a lot. We do sell a lot of protein. That is for sure.
A lot of proteins. So tell me about why you gave that one a not.
You're taking a plant. You're basically introducing, you're introducing chemicals to it to make it taste like something else. And I think people say they want to eat healthy. People say they want to eat healthy, but I think it goes back to your point. Look at the number of hamburger chains there are and all the pizza places. And what are the biggest sellers?
We talk about it all the time. People tell me, pizza's not hot. I'm like, there's a lot of pizza out there. Burgers, there's too many burgers. I'm like, a lot of burgers out there.
Saturation chicken, really? There's a lot
of chicken.
There's a segment for it. Right? Yeah, right. But look how many plant-based products have come and gone in the last 3 years. And I think people are trying to find their way, and I just don't think the masses today want that. I think they want their steak, they want their burgers, they want their pepperoni,
And I would also tell you that I think when I certainly on the retail side, when people were shopping and they saw, real ground beef 80/20, it was less expensive than fake beef.
Right.
So I think that was like, wait a minute, fake stuff so it's not even less expensive, more expensive.
And to Craig's point, you start digging into some of the ingredients. You start digging into
it's not healthy.
You start looking at the sodium count, and I got to tell you, it starts to I think it starts to turn people off. Real quick, you mentioned hot smart kitchen appliances. Are there anything you're leaning into right now, or you think is particularly helpful for your brand, your stores that you see in the smart kitchen appliances coming down the pipe?
Our footprint is so small. Our typical space is about 1,500 square feet, and of which the kitchen is only about 700. So we aren't necessarily in need where we have this huge kitchen where you have to monitor everything constantly because it can be self-monitored. But I think for the bigger footprint, there's definitely something to it.
Yeah, you guys are hoodless, right? You're all hoodless.
No, we actually have 3 hoods. We have one over the grill, one over the oven, and one over our fryer for our press cut fries.
Got it. Yeah, but I will say, on the smart kitchen appliances, we are seeing a lot of, you're talking about, it's a business of pennies. And when you can start reducing like electrical costs by, ovens, temperatures going up and down based on, people coming in and not, and oil being at 350 the entire day when you're not, bringing it down. And if you have 300, 500,000 stores, utility bill can certainly go down. And also the lifespan of the equipment.
Oh, there's definitely a place for it. With our small footprint, there's not, but I could see it continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Jimbo, there was one more hot. You care to talk about it? You're good. All right. Well, that's good. That's good.
If you guys will indulge me, I'll tell just a quick story about on the plant-based side. I had a guy come in years ago who sold. It was seasoning, and he presented about 5 vials in front of me, and he said, "Here, smell this." And one of the vials smelled like press cut grass, and one of them smelled like a charbroiled burger. And my point being on that plant-based, you can make anything smell or taste like anything, but what kind of chemicals do you have to introduce to it?
Probably a lot of chemicals
to get a leaf to taste like a charbroiled burger. So that's why
that's a good point. I find when you have a hamburger on a bun with lettuce, tomato, onions, like special sauce, right? Pickles, whatever you stick in there, tastes pretty good. It tastes pretty good to me. All right, listen, we got to jump into. We got a little something here now, Jimbo. I think we all know what's coming. What's that, Jimbo? Do you hear it?
Oh, we're playing the feud.
We got the food service feud coming on. Tuesday trivia edition. Craig, don't get tired yet. Don't walk out yet. I promise you this podcast is coming to an end, but not before we do the food service feud. All right, listen. We asked over 100 people. 100 people were surveyed, and we put the top 4 answers on the board. I'm going to give you the 4 answers. You tell me what the number 1 answer is. Craig, get your buzzer ready. Jimbo, you're playing too. Get your buzzer ready. Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Which state has the highest number of drive-through restaurants per capita? Is it Oklahoma, Texas, California, or Florida?
Ooh.
Florida.
No, we're giving our guess. Craig is going Florida. I'm sorry, Craig, that is not the right answer. Jimbo, do you want to steal for the Frischling family and win big, fabulous prizes?
I'm going to go with Texas because things are just bigger in Texas. I understand California is a bigger state, but I'll go with Texas.
I got to tell you, I don't know the time that both you and the guest both got it wrong. No, the answer is Oklahoma. Oklahoma, yes. Drive-thrus are Sonic, Brahms Ice Cream, Whataburger, Taco Bueno, Chick-fil-A. They're the most popular in Oklahoma, and they've got the most drive-thrus. Don't ask me why, Jimbo. I'm just reading what I got here.
2 guesses would have been wrong both times.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, Jim, you know what's great, though?
Word of knowledge.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure your favorite segment's coming up.
Yes, I told you guys at the top of the episode we're gonna bring back Craig to give the answer to our 2 truths and 2 truths and a lie. All right, remember the 3 factoids.
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
Craig plays college football. Craig has 9 toes. Craig has run 10 marathons in 10 different states. Schatzberg, before Craig gives the answer.
I'm trying to get like a tell from his face. The guy has a poker face like I've never freaking seen before, Jimbo. He's giving me nothing. He's giving me nothing. I thought when you were saying like, he would like smirk, smile, something. Nothing. All right. I'm going to have to go with, man, that toe thing is so weird. It's like, why would anyone even come up with that if it's not true? I mean, that's the most bizarre. Like
that's why we play the game.
He's smiling. He's smiling there, though. All right, listen. You know what? I'm saying that he played. Accountants don't play college football, Jimmy.
You're saying
I saw something in Craig's face.
No one who's ever been an accountant has ever played college football. I
don't know. All right, I say he ran 10 marathons in 10 states. And I say he played college football. I say he's got 10 toes.
So 10 toes, 10 marathons.
Wait, aren't I going with the lie? There's two truths.
You're going with Craig doesn't have 9 toes. That's the lie.
That's the lie. Right. He's got 10 toes.
All right, there you have it. All right, Craig, you're up, my friend.
I played college basketball.
Mother.
Boom.
God.
College basketball.
I have run 10 marathons in Penn State, and I do indeed have 9 toes.
9 toes?
9 toes.
By the way,
well, now we got to ask.
By the way, a golfer, a basketball player, a marathon runner.
He's an accountant athlete.
Accountant, 9 toes. There you go. Which foot has the 4?
What toes? What I want to know.
The second toe on the left foot is no longer with me.
No longer with. Sounds like an industrial issue.
Was it like an accident or some sort of disease of some sort?
No, it was, you guys know what hammer toe is, right? Where your toe basically pulls in.
Yes.
The tendon shrank, and it had shrunk so bad that I had a choice of either having surgery, which would take 6 to 12 months to heal, or having it cut off, and I'd be better in 6 weeks. So I said, cut me, Mick. Had it cut off.
Cut me, Mickey.
I got to be honest with you. I think that toe is useless anyway. I think at some point that toe's going to be gone.
Well, by the way,
I don't miss it.
How about he brought in?
You don't miss it?
How about he brought in Rocky 1? How about he brought in the original Rocky?
Yeah, cut me, Mick. Cut me, Mick. I mean, yeah, no, you got to love that. All right, listen, we're going in. I got to say, there's so many segments over here. I can't keep track.
This is the granddaddy.
This is the granddaddy mall. Craig, I promise it's going to go away fast. You're going to be back to selling subs. All right, listen. Branded Quickfire. I'm asking you 5 lightning round questions. Don't think too hard. Don't think too long. First thing that comes to mind, are you ready to play? Branded Quickfire, special edition Tuesday here at Pepsi Studios. Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Where are you getting dinner from tonight?
I'm going to go to a little neighborhood restaurant bar called Coach's and watch opening day for the Cincinnati Reds.
Nice.
Oh, I like it. What's your favorite food city in the world?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Interesting. I don't think we've ever gotten that one before.
I've heard great things about.
What's so good over there? What are you getting that's so delicious?
A lot of local fare. Not a lot of brands downtown. You can go to someplace different every night for a month.
Just mom and pop places, huh?
Yep.
I love it. Favorite place to travel?
Naples, Florida.
Naples is nice.
Naples is nice.
I got to tell you. All right, here's where things get a little weird, a little crazy. All right. If you were to challenge Jimmy and I to a game of badminton, one of Jimmy's most favorite sports, he was also an athlete, Craig. He's got a great baseball story to tell you. Who do you have better odds of beating, badminton, Jimmy or I? That's with the little bird with the little rubber thing there.
The fact that you just asked what is the sport, I hope that helps Craig answer the question.
Well, when you bring it up and play sports, I was originally going to say that accountants are accountants, right? We wear black socks when we play basketball and keep our watches on. So I'm going to go with Schatzy. I'd rather play you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yes, I think, no, he's going to beat you.
Oh, he's going to beat me? I just thought we were playing badminton for fun.
No.
And I just thought you didn't want to play you because you didn't like Jimmy. No, I just thought he's like, I'd like to play Shatsy because we'd have a good time together.
The question was who do you have a better time with? The question was by the way, that's a nice twist you did.
Yeah, you see what I did there? He doesn't want to play badminton against Jimmy because he don't like you.
The question was who do you have better odds of beating? He said, you.
You know something, Craig? I thought we had something going there.
Who could I beat?
Oh.
Who could you beat?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you would beat me. I could see that.
Anyway, Shatsy would lose. He has the old attention deficit disorder. He'd lose track of time and lose interest. Listen, Craig, we want to thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. We appreciate the insights and everything you guys are doing at Penn Station. It's really awesome. Very excited for you guys' continued growth, and we look forward to watching what you guys will be up to. If any of our guests would like to get in touch with Craig directly, you can email the podcast.
We're not giving out cell phones.
Yeah, we don't give out cell phones anymore. Email the podcast team at podcast@brandedstrategic.com, and we'd be happy to connect you. And as always, we want to thank our listeners. Our subscriber base continues to soar. We so appreciate.
Do you know that we were just ranked the top podcast in hospitality? It was top 40.
Top 40.
But still, top 40. Hello?
Top 40.
I mean, top 40 podcasts in hospitality. There's only 40 podcasts in
I want to
hospitality.
play the Casey Kasem game, America's top 40.
That's not bad, man.
Are we 40 or we won? Where do we rank?
I don't know, but you know what? We're top 40.
As Ricky Bobby would say, if you ain't first, you last.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say we were first, but we were top 40.
Top 40.
Hey, Craig, if anyone wants to learn more about Penn Station East Coast Subs, where do they go? Is it Penn Station East Coast Subs.com?
Penn-station.com, pen-station.com.
Pen-station.com. Check it out. There's 2,000 stores just here in the East Coast, and they're opening up you got 2,000 coming up, something like that?
Not quite. We've got 323 locations in 15 states, but coming to a town near you.
That's awesome.
But you will have 1,000 stores very soon.
Leave the numbers to me.
One day we will have 1,000
stores very soon.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Anyway, Craig, we appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. And to our listeners, again, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of the show. So when you guys reached out, I said I'm honored. Seriously.
That's why we're top 40.
Top 40.
That's
There we
right.
go.
One listener.
Top 40.
Hey, listen, I got to tell everybody before we go and thank Craig again for joining us on the Hospitality Hangout. If you haven't checked out the other part of our branded media circus, we've got the Hospitality Headline, where every Saturday, Mr. Jimmy Frischling himself writes the most beautiful, beautiful newsletter every Saturday morning. 6 a.m. it comes out like clockwork. And I got to tell you, he is sharing nuggets of information. And I got to tell you, the podcast got 75 listeners. The headline, we're at like 35,000 readers.
Yes, readers.
And
1,000 subscribers to the podcast. You had 75.
75,000. But
Yes.
but your readers on the headline, I mean, it's growing. At like 6:04, you get like 10,000 opens.
I feel very, very fortunate.
Big names too, Jimbo. So check out hospitalityheadline.com. Check that out. Listen, everybody. Cheers. This is great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Okay.